welcome to another week from the Kingdom Game Studio. I'm Chris, your humble community servant, here today with everyone's favorite, Joe.
Yo.
Game designer extraordinaire, gray box expert, Doom
Hello.
fan.
Doom fan. Yeah.
Doom fan, Doom expert, Doom modder.
Yep. All of the above.
All of the above. We are Kingdom Games ATX on all your favorite social media sites. That's Kingdom Games Austin, Texas, Kingdom Games ATX. Kingdom Games ATX, Facebook, Twitter, all your favorite social media. Keep updated on all of the development of 5 Guardians of David, live from Austin, Texas. So, Joe, what's been going on this week? We had some visitors in the office. That was exciting. You did a pretty good segment with Jakari Jackson from InfoWars team. What did you guys talk about?
That was pretty interesting. I had my level open in front of me with some gray boxing that I'd done the previous week, and we kind of talked about it and some of the process and iteration, some of the things that we talked about the last time I was on.
Yeah.
But
very cool stuff.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, excited. You're gonna be a TV star? Okay.
TV star.
Yeah, you're gonna be a TV star.
Eventually.
Yeah. So we had talked about what we call the code name. Kind of the code name is the arena.
Yeah.
That's kind of in development right now. Kind of who knows what'll happen with that. Last week we had Brandon Bauman talking a bit about that. You've been working on that. Like what's going on there?
Well, we got some lots of planning.
Very cool.
Lots of planning going on this week. We're just getting ready for a new kind of a sprint, as you would call it, of work, and it's getting exciting. We're making good progress in what we are working on. It's looking really good. You guys should expect a pretty sizable thing coming your way.
Exciting.
Yeah.
Codename exciting thing coming in the near future that we want to say more about, but it's always so much more fun to have a surprise.
Yeah.
But the level looks really cool. How you color coded the areas, different gray boxes.
Oh, yeah.
And
different regions represent different things.
so at this stage, it's still a lot of design work, right? I mean, it's like in order to put the game together, you gotta design all the systems you want to do, and can we do this? Can we do that? And
Right.
whittle it down before you go into full production mode.
Right. You know, we just want to make sure we're not putting the cart before the horse.
Definitely.
Kind of thing, where we have to get our ducks in order, and every other metaphor I could think of for that. But
Ducks in a row, ducks in order, slice
Cart
the
from
bread
horse,
up,
yep.
yeah. Something like that. Organized.
Yeah, so it's just always good to have a good foundation before you launch a big project, and I see this as, you know, also a learning experience too. We're adapting to software that not everybody in the studio has used before.
Oh, cool.
Like it's called Target Process, but I think we're all pretty got a handle on it now, and we're finding the best way to use it on a day-to-day basis to get the most out of every workday.
Yeah, definitely. I believe that's Kanban is the overarching.
Yeah, it's called Kanban, which is like, it's really can be boiled down simply to like, you do this and then you don't start this until this is moved over and into the further production cycle, and then just the way it tracks stuff. Really,
It's sort of like Scrum, right? I mean, it's
sort of
pretty
like
similar.
Scrum. Yeah, it's a different type of like agile system.
Very cool. Very cool. So, in the past week, there were 2 very large events in the video game industry. The large, of course, GDC, Game Developer Conference in San Francisco, I believe it was.
It's usually Sanford.
Yeah, huge. And South by Southwest has expanded their interactive element to really have a full-blown gaming expo. I'd say probably about half the size of PAX. I could be a little bit wrong. It seemed about, in terms of floor size, about half the size.
I'd also say it's a good quarter anime related.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of really cool anime merch, and
Yeah.
even some like VR stuff that seemed more
Serious games.
yeah, like scientific almost.
Yeah,
There's a whole
NASA had a
booth.
pretty good
Yeah,
huge booth there.
yeah.
Which I was surprised to see. I guess that's kind of closer than the anime stuff in my.
Yeah, like that seemed a little more logical. I mean, my favorite
Yeah.
thing, of course, is the standing desks, which are like super
Right.
automated.
I work at home. I have a standing desk that I converted out of a Target bookshelf.
I think you
So-
showed me. Yeah, you showed me that your ultimate game station, which
Yeah.
is controlled by a Steam controller.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's got my one monitor up on top when I'm working on my computer, and then on the bookshelf there's a lower monitor which I then sit down with my Steam controller and just go at it when I want to sit down and relax. But yeah, those chairs and those standing desks that were at South by were pretty cool.
They had those at PAX too, and like they really go full force, and I think their demo of it was just and you're like, wow, that's really way easier than you expected.
Yeah.
Those are really neat.
Little buttons.
So what were the favorite things? Because we were both at South by, not together. We missed each other.
Yeah.
But what were the favorite?
Oddly enough, we were at the same time too.
Yeah, around the same time. But what did you see that really excited you?
Just a lot of interesting indie devs, I would say, is the biggest attraction to me. Although, kind of like Comic-Con, me being from New York, I used to go to New York Comic-Con a lot.
Oh, nice.
The indie artist would be kind of like tucked away in a corner, all the way in the back.
Yes.
So you have to go looking for them. But they were there, and they were doing some kind of vote to see which one's your favorite indie game to win the... I'm not even sure who won in the end.
I do know. Their awards went for single player, went to Super Hot. Now, I don't know if they did a separate vote for the show floor, but multiplayer went to Gang Beasts, which is awesome. It's still in early access. And actually, the Super Hot's really awesome, too. I mean, those are both amazing choices. Gang Beasts is like, you're essentially a blob, and there are 3 other blobs, and it is just an all-out action beat-em-up, where you're just blobs trying to push each other, like...
Super Blob Blower?
Yeah, exactly. Like, very, like, kind of clunky controlled, very amorphous, but the fun part of it is, like, they put you in really obstacle-driven environments. So, for instance, they'll start you on 2 guys are on this scaffolding of window washing, and then 2 guys are on this scaffolding. So you have to be able to defend yourself from this guy, but also get to that scaffolding. Or like they have one level which is just a boxing ring, but I think you can throw someone out the window and stuff. So
that's great.
Gang Beasts is awesome. It's in early access, and I think they're working on multiplayer. Is the thing. And Super Hot, of course, is everyone's the noise right now.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people playing that for a while.
It's beautiful.
Just behind the Super Hot table, though, was my personal favorite, which was Strafe, indie game.
What's that?
It's kind of a roguelike first-person shooter, but harkens back to Quake and Doom.
Wow.
And very specifically looks like it was a game built in the 90s. So,
is it graphically built that way?
Yes, and they're very proud of that too. Like their demo booth that they had IBM model M reproduction keywords.
Awesome.
And, I would recommend everyone to watch their trailers because...
Is it mouse driven at all, or is it all keyboard?
Oh, keyboard and mouse. No, it's still modern controls, but you can has bunny hopping a lot and just the movements. And
do you run fast diagonally?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Perfect. I'm sold.
But that another one, and I forgot the name, but I was really enticed by it. There was another one right next to the Super Hot. Was a Castlevania NES style game. I'm not sure the title again, but it looked really fascinating. It looks like a Nintendo Castlevania game.
Brilliant.
But just not.
Yeah.
That was enough to get my interest.
I can't remember the title of it, but I saw this at PAX, and I saw it again at South by. There's a Chameleon game by a local collective. I think it's just 2 people.
Mm-hmm.
And essentially it's a puzzle-solving game where you're a chameleon, so you have to move colors to color the world.
Oh, that's interesting.
It's awesome. So like you start out in a complete monochrome 3D environment, like castles and stuff, but you grab colors from the things that would have. So like if you see a tree that's monochrome, you can actually take the green from the tree. It's really cool.
Yeah, that's
but then you
cool.
can replace it, so it's like, oh, let's see. Well, let's make the wall green. Oh, it's awesome. It's totally cool.
Nice.
Obviously, there's some other really cool panels that I kind of snuck in for a little bit of like games I've already played. Though, like Layers of Fear had a nice panel. I think there were another local studio that did that. Obviously, everything Devolver has. Insomniac's game looks cool, but I haven't got a chance to play it yet.
Yeah, they were having technical difficulties too when I was
were they?
around there.
Oh man.
So they were just fiddling with their machines and stuff. So I was like, okay, I'll check you guys out later.
That's a bummer. That looks beautiful. It's a great game. In terms of announcements not on the show floor, they showed off Pokemon Go. I don't know if you saw any footage.
I didn't get to watch the footage, but I have been following it a little bit, mostly on my own online.
They released the first footage of a Bulbasaur being captured,
Oh, nice.
like in the middle of the street.
Safe.
Yeah, well, not in the middle of the street, but yeah, it's actually a very valid concern.
Yeah, that's what I'm with.
Oh no, Bulbasaur is now roadkill for Bulbasaur. Yeah,
burning
but
building and then no, I have to get in there.
Yeah.
Mew is in there. Mew is in there.
Oh no, that's a scary thought. But yeah, they showed off their first footage, and it looks really cool what they're doing with that. I think it got delayed again, unfortunately. But I mean, I think augmented reality games in general.
Yeah.
We haven't really seen a lot of experiments with that, other than what Microsoft is showing off with.
And it's a Nintendo, so I don't think it's going to be dropped or forgotten about.
Oh no.
So, yeah.
I'm very excited for it. Hololens, on that same vein, released a tech demo of the Conquer game they're working on, where it's basically a platformer where you control Conquer, and it adapts to your environment. So if you look at a couch, Conquer will bounce on the couch, or you can, I think, shift the gravity of a room or make him climb on walls and stuff. It's okay, this is really fascinating stuff. So
yeah, fascinating. It's frightening too, knowing Conquer. Who knows where they're going?
They're going family friendly with it. They're going original Conquer, not Bad Fur Day. They're going original Conquer, like the Game Boy Rare version, not the extreme version.
Yeah,
they're going for more
Nintendo 64, Xbox One.
Yeah. They're going for more the Minecraft audience type. They're not going for the super intense. It looks
flashbacks to the Great Mighty Pooh.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And Sony surprisingly seemed to be more invested in South by Southwest with their headset than GDC, which was kind of a weird. You would think they would.
Maybe they're going for the fans more than trying to sell it to the devs.
Yeah, maybe that is what.
I mean, just being a dev, I don't think anyone really. Not a lot of people need convincing, especially around Austin, that VR is awesome.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Yeah, everybody is on board. For the most part with it. I hope it's as successful as they hope it is. I currently think that Sony actually probably has the best bet financially to get this done.
Yeah, the price point makes sense.
Price point, but also the dedicated hardware. Plugging it into a PlayStation is a lot better than asking people to, say, upgrade to a cutting-edge PC.
About $1,000, probably $800 to $1,000 to get a VR-ready PC for the current stage, which a lot of people have been questioning. Well, it's not going to do 4K. That's a 1080, right? That's the current stage at 1080. That's not the current stage at
our top-of-the-line graphics cards at the moment really don't support 4K regardless. A lot of it, say if you look at benchmarks for The Witcher and other graphics-intensive games, and when they run them in 4K, they just chug along with 30, 35.
It's tough. I mean, there's going to be some sacrifices for fidelity at the moment. I mean, and I've seen quad Titan builds and stuff, and that's a really tall order. You're talking about consumer grade hardware. Yeah, it's not.
Yeah. Well, the new generation for at least on NVIDIA's side is on the way. With the 1000 series graphics cards.
It's very exciting. I think this would be the year I upgrade to a PC.
I did. This was the year I did. I just held off on the video card.
Okay, that's a good idea. Let's wait for the price drops. But Sony's price point's good. $399 for the entire headset system works good. You have your owners already have it; they're already interested. That's there. I think the specs were a little bit weaker than
considering it's got to be on the PlayStation 4, right?
Yeah, but there are now rumors that there's a PlayStation 4.5 coming. Some kind of hardware upgraded 4K capable PlayStation.
Microsoft was talking about doing that for now on with the Xbox One too.
Yeah. There's definitely
for now on just upgrading the one.
Yeah, the console might not be dead. The console might be shifting gears.
Yeah,
which will be interesting to see what kind of architecture they go with. Because I wonder how hard that's going to be to maintain a closed system with hardware upgrades.
I think they could do it, but they would need to lock in providers. You shouldn't be able to go to a store and then say I can get this Xbox One ATI video card, or I can get this Xbox One NVIDIA card, because that would just make it a PC essentially, and you have too many options.
Well, there are also rumors now that DX12 is going to be cross-compatible with NVIDIA and AMD GPUs, which is fascinating because that'll be interesting to see DX12 bring things closer together, because you would think OpenGL would.
Yeah.
But apparently it might be DX12. But time will tell. Anything else at South by Southwest kind of caught your eye? Other any good cosplays or?
Good cosplays. I enjoyed it. Nothing that would make me go, wow! I can't believe they did that. But it was pretty interesting. It was a funner show than I kind of was expecting. That was my first time heading down to the gaming interactive one. And I've just been to so many of those cons that usually you get into the habit of keep going, and then you're like, okay, I know the gist of what's going on around here. But I liked seeing the indie devs. That was really great.
Yeah, that was really crowded too. That was
the most crowded.
Yeah, section. That's where I was having a lot of trouble. I actually missed, I think, a whole row because it was just packed. It was just stuffed in the far back corner. It was just stuffed with people. There's probably some really good stuff there that I missed. It sounds like I did.
I wish there was more hardware stuff being shown off, not just VR, but like they had a Logitech booth that was. Yeah, I
saw a Logitech booth.
Right, kind of in the center area. Yeah. And then they had the seating area where they showed this really cool race car seats.
The race car seats.
Which, if I had a sit-down desk, would be really cool.
Yeah, those are cool. Alienware brought their called their Truck of Doom. Their Steambox Truck of Doom.
That's usually a QuakeCon too.
Yeah, it's cool. I like it. That's pretty baller. My favorite moment was I saw like maybe a 6-year-old girl with the Vive. And just watching people watch the little girl play in VR was fascinating to me.
I might have been watching the same person.
It probably was, because everyone was just like, because it was like, she's like, I can pick that up. And then like you see that moment where they put the controller over here to try and grasp something. It's like, oh, that's really good. What kind of milk do we buy? That's a good question.
2%.
2%. I don't drink milk. Thank you for the question.
I try to do almond milk though.
Almond milk? Yeah. I think I might be lactose intolerant. I don't know. I could be. I'm not sure.
I try to, but for cereal I still prefer.
Almond milk. Okay. Let's put a cap on South by Southwest. GDC. Absolutely crazy. The biggest news, probably CryEngine is going to pay what you want, and then launched a humble bundle at the same time to do $12 for hundreds of assets.
Yeah. It's pretty fascinating. I'm kind of conflicted now because, the more we support indie devs, I guess the better.
Yeah.
It's always cool to have these tools. Now we're starting to get in the realm of like Amazon has their.
Yeah, Amazon has Lumberyard, which is based on the CryEngine. I think they gave CryEngine $50 million for the dev work, and they now have Lumberyard, which is based off of CryEngine, but it's a complete engine. Max Play's an Austin startup. I think there's a VR-focused engine. Yeah. Not to mention, Unity, Unreal, and a lot of others that I'm not even naming.
Smaller
like
Game
Maker,
Maker,
RPG makers, not free to play, but pretty affordable these days. And what is that last one? Multimedia Studio 2.0, 2.2?
I'm not familiar with that one, actually.
It's Fistful of Gun, Five Nights at Freddy's.
Oh, is that really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that was
Multimedia Studio.
I thought that guy just put that together.
No, it was an engine. A grid-based, node-based engine. Some other game maker, but also coding available too. But I think that was mostly node-based. I could be wrong on that though.
Makes sense. These games came out like within 4 months of each other.
Do you think pineapple is a respectable pizza topping? Of course.
No, I'm from New York. Go away.
You don't like pineapple?
No.
Yeah, but when you have these tools that are just free, it's awesome because obviously it's beneficial to people. Like now I can just download CryEngine and try it out and see if it works. And if it does work, it's like, well, they don't have to pay us anything, but we think you will, and you will because then it becomes a partnership. And you see something like Ark Survival Evolved is a great example of like, hey, we have really solid builds in Unreal, and now they're working in collaboration with Unreal. Like, here's a weakness in the engine. Can you develop that for us? And now it pushes Ark forward.
Right.
What do you hope for in the next Elder Scrolls game?
Oh, man. That's actually a game-related question.
Yes, I'm surprised. They're getting more pointed.
I don't. All right, fine. I'm going to answer this question. I love Skyrim. I played a lot of it, but I craved more after a while. Yeah. Like, I craved deeper decision making and more, meaningful RPG elements, and I started actually going back to playing Morrowind after. and really enjoyed the experience because I downloaded a mod that made it just as good looking as Skyrim, if not better.
Oh, no doubt.
But, I'm actually playing Fallout 4 right now, and seeing the direction Bethesda's going, I can sure that it's, if anything, Elder Scrolls 6 will probably be more akin to what Fallout 4 is. Kind of even more user-friendly, streamlined edition. And personally, I would love to see it go back to more of a deeper experience. But I know, business-wise, they're probably making the best decision. So.
Yeah, I think I didn't play Oblivion. I played Morrowind and I played Skyrim. And I like the same elements of the open world, but I mean, my favorite Morrowind moment is going into the wizard shop, and the diamond costs 1,000 credits or whatever, and I was just like, I don't have that much money. But then I looked at the shelf and said, do you want this diamond? And I just stole it, and then the wizard started throwing lightning bolts at me, and I just left. So, more experiences like that, but I feel like it is moving in more that Fallout 4 direction, where it's like, well, let's kind of conflate things.
Or the quest system in Fallout 4, which is, you have a choice. I have a quest for you, and I'm giving you a choice. Yeah. You can say yes and take the quest, or you can say no and take the quest.
Basically. I couldn't kill quest givers in Skyrim. That bothers me too. I really want to kill
same thing in Fallout 4.
Yeah, I want to. I think you could in Fallout 3.
Yeah, and your followers can't be killed, so I've just kind of used them as infinite tanks.
Yeah. Which is... Anyway, man, come on. A lot of Elder Scrolls questions. Why Elder Scrolls of all games? What is it for the win guy? What is it about Elder Scrolls games? Anyway, CryEngine went free to play. That's awesome. NVIDIA announced GameWorks 3.3, is it? 3.1. So basically, even better shadows, even better lights, because NVIDIA is just...
Yeah.
I mean, Hairworks is what really fascinates me. I don't know if you've seen people experiment with that, but just really furry animals and just seeing how it goes. Like, obviously,
yeah, I'd like to see more of that in games. Like
super furry.
It's kind of interesting because we're heading into, like, we really need to start devoting resources if we want to advance graphically to things that may or may not be noticed by the player. Actually, like hair, little hair follicles, or my personal favorite is water. I think when we get to the age where we can actually render liquid water consistently in 3D. I'm not just talking about, like, the water you see in most games is just kind of a box volume that changes the physics that you walk in, and, with a water texture on top of it, or water material. But I'm talking about, like, there are 2D games that actually simulate liquid water, that they drop it in and then it fills up the entire, it'll fall down ramps and stuff.
Yeah, it'll drain too. Like Terraria did a fantastic job when they patched that in. That was really impressive. It's like hell the water. They did really good stuff with their lighting too, actually. It was all just patched in later. Really fascinating stuff. Just Cause 3, I don't know if you played it, had a lot of physics specifically to the water that I had to turn down because it was just destroying my car.
I heard it was very tough on systems.
It's rough.
I'm definitely going to buy it, but I'm still not even remotely done with Just Cause 2 yet.
Well, I lost my save in Just Cause 3, so the fun starts again. And then, of course, the big star of GDC was VR. Everything from wingsuit simulation games where you lay flat on a table and the table moves, to the Wave, which is a DJ simulation where the DJ wears a Vive and controls virtual knobs and stuff in the VR realm, and people can watch and become spectators in the audience by using Google Cardboard or Samsung VR with just their smartphones. It's like, that's innovative, and that's going to change the way people go to concerts, probably. It's like, well, you could just live stream a concert in VR. It's like, well, that's might be more fun than going to... Will curved TVs be a thing in 5 years?
Curved TVs? Yeah. I honestly don't think so. I'm looking for... I actually am planning to buy a curved monitor next year, though, because... having worked on like 2 or 3 monitors at the same time, it just makes sense because you already emulate that shape. Yeah. So on computers, it makes sense to have that kind of things. But when you're sitting down on the couch it makes
this distance.
that doesn't make any sense to me.
So what is it, like a 30-degree curve?
Yeah, I see them in Best Buy sometimes, and I just sit there going, "What's the point?"
It just looks very expensive especially if it's wall mounted.
It does, like, and it kind of limits
your view angle.
Yeah.
So like even on this couch, if I sat here, like it would be good for one person.
Yeah, that's why
it
works better for a computer because you kind of
that makes sense.
And being a big first-person gamer, it's kind
to
of
get your
natural
peripheral
next step.
vision.
Yeah.
But what is that? I guess there's definitely a mathematical equation for what that limit is for how far the center point from your eyes needs to be that you can actually get that emulation.
Field of vision, I guess, but
yeah, it'd be tough to figure out like what the perfect distance for you to sit away from the monitor is.
Yeah.
Thanks for looking, guy. Good questions. Vive was in full force. I don't know if you see any leaked footage of Valve's game, The Lab.
I haven't.
Okay, so Valve has an Aperture Science themed suite of tech
I
demos.
did actually see a little bit of
And
that.
someone leaked it, and that looks really cool. It makes me sad that I can't afford a Vive right now.
Don't worry. A lot of people can't afford VR.
Or a computer that can run it. I couldn't afford to buy the Vive itself, much less the whole system.
Right.
It does look really awesome though, and I would love to buy one.
Yeah.
It's just that price point's
that's
tough.
the whole situation with VR financials kind of just reminds me of the scene in Jurassic Park where they're all at the dinner table discussing the morals and merits of the park, and the lawyer's like, he's like, yeah, everybody will come over no matter who they are, and we can charge them whatever they want, like 10,000, 20,000, and then Hammond, the owner of Dressburg, says, it's not just for the super rich, I want everyone to experience Jurassic Park, and then was like, sure, we'll have a coupon day or something.
Yeah, coupon day.
And I can't help but think of that whenever I hear VR.
It's tough. Well, I mean, technology gets drastically cheaper quickly.
Yeah.
So, as more people become focused on it and the market starts to open up.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I am excited. Don't get me wrong.
I
played when I was younger. There was this huge arcade in Times Square, and they had one of these, kind of walk-ins, this octagon, and then they put the VR headset in you. And this is, back in the 90s, too. And it was pretty awesome. I was like, wow, one day this is going to be cool. I do think there's some usability concerns that they have to get by. You see all these people working on it, and I'm sure they're having a blast, but they have tons of cables sticking out of them. And
that's actually something too. The Vive at GDC was not the same Vive that was at the previous conference. They've redesigned it again. It's how much of this is iteration?
Well, it doesn't surprise me. Steam Controller kept going through. They kept pulling it, saying oh, we're going to do it again. No, we're going to do it again.
Yeah, but I think there's probably more of a push now that there's an HTC partnership to hit the ship date, right? It's that's. Have you seen the Virtuix? Virtuix Omni? That's another Austin-based company.
No. Yes,
It's essentially like a green throne that you stand in. You put on these slippery shoes.
Yeah, it was similar to what I kind of experienced, except it didn't have the movement, like the treadmill movement.
Yeah.
I saw a demonstration of that about 2 years ago, actually, almost at this point, in Mr. Tram Sports Pub. Just down the block.
Yeah.
It was a Unity meetup, and it was pretty interesting. They had demoed a couple of games. Half-Life 2 was one of them, and then just running around. And
it's
pretty cool.
It's really cool. They were in full force at GDC. I don't think they have announced their price point. I think it's up there in the high hundreds to 600 or so. I think.
Well, sure. I mean,
it's
PC and then.
So it's which way do you want to go? Do you want the Vive? Do you want this? And it's also Vive compatible, so you can.
And that's another thing. Now we have many different headsets that
there's
all are basically their own little Xboxes and PlayStations and need to be game compatible.
And more will continue to enter the market until, it's going to be more akin to the TV market than the console market, I think, for a while. It's going to be entry-level, mid-grade, super high-end, stuff in between, and it's just going to be getting that architecture to work out, and I don't know what's involved to make that work, but I assume if you can... I don't know. I don't want to get to engineering discussions I don't know anything about. I'm just saying that's a lot of different architectures and things to be compatible with other things when there's only really been
If you ever developed on a multi-platform game, you know the feeling.
And the last thing I have here is, not the last thing, second to last thing, is they had gloves with haptic feedback, which is really cool. So when you pick up something in VR, you'll actually get some kind of feedback.
I love the haptic feedback in the Steam controller.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the coolest additions of the thing, because I just love having that feedback. So yeah, that's
something
cool.
about that textile of touching things in certain space. Like if you're, let's just say you're touching a lion or something, having some kind of reference like, oh, I've hit that point. You know that. There
was a little animated video somebody posted floating around online of a demo of that kind of technology, and there was what looked like a stuffed plush dog.
Yeah.
And the hands are like, it looks like they get all excited that it's a dog. They're like, yeah. And then they start petting it, but it just kind of just falls over. And then they're like, no, I didn't mean to do that.
Yes, I saw that. That was the, it was the tech. Yeah, I did see it. It was like, this is the technology. It was like making fun of it. Last thing I have here is actually, this is interesting. The last time you were on, we talked about Star Wars. There's a Star Wars first-person VR lightsaber defense game, and it's like photorealistic graphics in some parts. And that was pretty.
Well,
cool.
I played there. We have a Pinball's Arcade over here. There's a play an arcade that's kind of like that.
Yeah.
First-person combat, but not with, obviously, you move it like yourself.
Yeah.
More like you move it with a joystick. But it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. I'm glad I just hope that they focus on emulating original trilogy / Force Awakens style lightsaber fights and not prequel style fights, which tantamount more to ballet.
Well, I mean, ballet is probably more fun.
Not to put down, ballet is not to put that down in any regards, but I mean, so choreographed in a sense.
Anything else at GDC? Caught your eye in the headlines, or you've been headfirst in work, you didn't even get to see it?
Mostly headfirst in work, and then kind of distracted by South by too. I think it's kind of funny. I don't want to go too much into it, but the kind of controversy over Microsoft's parties.
What happened?
That they go. Well, basically, I won't get into too many details, but they're throwing parties as if it was EA. Not EA, E3. Like back in the 90s. And
just crazy Microsoft parties.
And it's like GDC, so shouldn't we be focusing on just, talking game dev and not acting like rock stars? I mean,
no, it's GDC.
There's a place for that.
We should act like rock stars.
Well, that's what E3's for. GDC was always for the, let's actually talk stuff. Be serious.
Not anymore. I will get for the win guy. We will get your question after this. We are Kingdom Games ATX, Kingdom Games Austin, Texas, on all your favorite social media sites. Kingdom Games ATX. We've just launched about 3 months ago our game 5 Guardians of David, and development's continuing on very exciting things. We'll end with this great question from For the Win Guy. Will PlayStation ever bring back Crash Bandicoot or Spyro the Dragon in this console generation? I actually know the answer to that. So.
Well, I'm interested now that you said you know the answer to it.
Yeah, well, Crash is coming back.
I heard that they pulled... There was talk of Impulse coming back, but then now they've also said that was not true.
They had character redesigns leaked, I thought.
Yeah, but they were saying that was just a tech demo. Not
maybe.
So they will tease you.
I've heard that.
And then they will pull him away. And as for Spyro, I guess he's still around in Skylanders.
Yeah, so Skylanders exists.
Go play Skylanders.
That's on. But I don't think. Well,
I don't think you're going to get.
Sony doesn't own Spyro anymore. They sold him off, actually.
He's owned by whatever company.
He's owned by Activision now.
That's Skylanders.
Yeah, so
multi-platform, but I doubt we'll get to see a platforming Spyro game.
Yeah, so
we'll see him in Skylanders though.
Well, if you want to get your platforming in, Ratchet and Clank is coming out, so get that on a PlayStation and watch the movie. It's gonna be awesome.
Oh yeah, the movie.
It's coming. It's gonna be good. A lot of talent. All right. Thank you for watching, everyone. We will be back next week. We are doing an interview with VideoGamesInTheBible.com. Here with Stephen Dinelli, talking video games and the Bible.com.
Nice.
Yeah. Cool.
Stephen knows his stuff.
Yes, he does. Have a good week.
Later.